Welcome back to Bear Cave Watch Reviews. I'm your host, Papa Bear. And what if I told you today that I want you to imagine an Invicta Pro Diver that is still running 20 years after being purchased? Yep, I just asked you, can you imagine a Pro Diver that's 20 years old and still running? Well, in this old box is exactly that. And this is an old box. So let's take a look at it and see what we got. Okay, so before we open the box, let me give you a little backstory on the watch. This is the only Invicta watch that I've ever paid retail for. It was 20 years ago. It was at an Invicta store in the mall in Florida. Um, I was out shopping with my friend before we went to my nephew's birthday and went inside. I'd never heard of Invicta. I'd never seen them. So I just checked it out and I saw all these different watches. There was a lot of homages. This is way before Invicta started producing their quote unquote fashion style watches. Anyway, the price was fairly decent and it was a particular style of watch that I liked. So I said, why not? So I purchased it. It's been in my collection ever since. 20 years later, it's still running. If this were a mid-tier watch or a high-end watch, obviously 20 years is nothing. But when you're talking about an inexpensive watch uh, and the brand like Invicta, sometimes it's a little hard to do. So this is the box that it came in. Let's take a look. This is the 9412, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, we'll double check that. But here we go. There's the pillow. So, okay. This is the watch, and I will put specs to it. As you can tell, it is a Yachtmaster style watch. And you can see that it's on a Jubilee bracelet. This is not the original bracelet, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But this watch, the reason I liked it so much was because it had the silver dial with the red hands. And as you can see, it has the raised numerals. It does have your Invicta logo on the crown. And then this one doesn't have all the other extra Invictas, but it does have it on the side. It does come with 120 click unidirectional bezel, which still works pretty well. No backplay at all, still 20 years later. So that's really nice. It's a 40 millimeter. It comes with the Miyota movement. It does not have the NH35 Seiko movement, which it's still running. Is it keeping accurate time to the second? Probably not. I don't have a time grapher to check it. And even if I did, I wouldn't expect that. Now, it does have Mercedes hands, just like a lot of the Invictas out there. Like I said, it's a Yachtmaster design. The big difference is that this one has a scallop bezel, where the Yachtmaster has a coin bezel. Um, it doesn't even say flame fusion. It is mineral crystal, and the Cyclops is basically useless. Also, it's very, very scratched. But again, it's 20 years old. Now, the original bracelet was the standard Invicta bracelet. Nothing special, clinky clanky. After a while, I just got tired of it and I wanted to change it. So this is just an aftermarket Jubilee style that I picked up on Amazon for maybe $20 back in the day. I've worn this on silicone straps. I've worn this on NATO straps. One time I even put it on a leather strap just to see how it looked. And if you know anything about me, that's not my style. I don't like divers on leather, but I tried it out. So let's just talk about the fact that it's 20 years old. Nowadays, it's hard to get a watch that's going to last that long, a sub 100 watch that's going to last that long. This was $100 when I bought it, maybe 115. I don't know what I did with the receipt. It's been so long. The return on investment was pretty quick. I mean, once you keep a watch a certain amount of time and it's not an expensive watch, you're going to get your money back on it. The reason I never parted with it was because I have the emotional attachment of buying it on my nephew's birthday. and it was the first one. So this one actually helped me get back into watches and start collecting again, because I had gotten to a point where I had already sold off several watches, and I had like 2 left, and then I got this one. So the bracelet that I put it on, it's just a regular Jubilee press clasp, micro adjustment, enough of them, but it really changes the look. And we're going to go ahead and put that on wrist so you can see it. There it is. I think it looks really, really sharp with the Jubilee. I actually prefer it with the Jubilee than the regular bracelet that came on it, and I kind of kicked myself for not putting it on earlier in the time I had it. But there it is. It's, you know, it's just your standard Invicta Pro Diver, but it just looks really, really nice, especially being 20 years old. Okay. I wear the watch regularly. I do enjoy it. I kept the box because I was like, oh, you know, maybe one day I'll give it to somebody as a gift. I don't know, but it's worn, it's torn, it's been through a couple of moves. Um, Now, a lot of people don't like Invicta. I get it. I'm not a fan of their catalog. I'm mostly a fan of the Pro Diver or the Speedways. This one just happens to have an attachment to me. So anyhow, I've kept it in my regular rotation. I plan on keeping it in my regular rotation. It's not a luxury piece. It's just something that's part of my journey on the watch collection. So, you know, like I said, if you take care of it, it'll take care of you. And it's still running. It still ticks. Um, it's not going to get COG certified, but who cares? So overall, it's been an impressive little watch for the price point. So I just wanted to make a video to talk about it because 20 years is a long time for a watch, especially a sub 100, or like I said, maybe $125 watch. So anyway, thank you for making it to the end of the video. Thanks for coming back and checking out the video. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep making content. I'm going to keep bringing different watches out here. And I still do have my Summer of Addie's Dives watches where I went a little crazy and purchased a lot of different watches, traded up some watches. Um, and I'm going to bring those too. So thank you for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. Also, check out my other social media. I'm on pretty much everything. So if you want to get updates, do that too. This is Papa Bear. We'll see you next time.